Okay, so we're in a toliss A319. I've not actually tried this update properly yet, so I wanted to try it with an approach that actually makes use of the new features. Not flying online tonight, probably going to be a bit fast and loose with some of the procedures, because really just want to test the new McDo functions, and mostly I'm just using this flight as a way to position myself for Calvi. So the Calvi approach, for those who don't know, at least the 3.6 approach, is famous for being quite impressive. You have to fly quite low in the middle of a valley, and we'll try that. So we're gonna get AviTab in there, get all of the data, so charts, it's this one. Okay, so we're going from Lyon in France to Calvi, so that's Lima Foxtrot Lima Lima to Lima Foxtrot Kilo Charlie. Flying at 290. Oops, no, not in there. I believe we cost index 30. 30. There we go. We'll just say we're Air France something. Air France 007. Anything really will work. We don't need an alternate for that. Departure. I'm just gonna check that the winds match up. 1012 wind slides invariable, so we can take whatever is on RRFP. So that's 35 left, so I'm just gonna check because I know there's a pretty short runway in here that we probably don't want to take for departure. Yeah, left is good. So 35 left, 4 kilometers, we are fine, and that's the Roma to November departure, so Roma to November, no transition, that's it. Okay, and so that's where we can actually try some of the new features. If we go into Airways, so we take the Upper Tango 4-3, and instead of punching in the termination of that airway, we're just going to put the next airway in there. So that's Upper Mike 7-8, which doesn't seem to work, so we'll just do it by hand. So Bepair. Yep, and then Upper Mike 7-8 to naughty. Actually, let's try Upper Papa 901. Does that work? That works, but that's not the right termination waypoint, so we still want to match our flight plan. Yeah, so we have to do, yeah, okay. Okay, never mind. So Upper Mike 7-8. Nah. Too naughty. Followed by Upper Papa 901. We'll take that all the way to Nerdo. So November India Romeo Delta Oscar. And we can insert that, and then from there we'll have our arrival in Calvi. So arrival, I'm gonna have the Nerdo, so runway 36. So what we actually need to do, right, is we need to, so we're basically doing a 1.8 approach, so that's what we need to do to load, and then we'll break off for at the circling minimas. Nada 2, there we go, no vires. For that we actually need to pull out arrival, that's all of them. So Nada, so we'll go from Nada to Norca, and then Norca to Ilro, and so then it just stands to reason that we'd have approach lock 1.8. Hello. Yeah, okay, so we're not going to put airlow, because when we put airlow, usually it puts in that that hold here that we don't need because we're not online. We're just going to do a quick check that we've got all of our waypoints properly inserted in there. So flight plan, so take off to the north, then a turn. Norca, Suka, early. Yep, okay, and then at that point we'll break off anyway, so that's fine. We're gonna do load quickly, so if I go back into charts, let's have a look. Okay, so if we go here, we should have a load sheet-ish, so okay. So plugins, toliss, ISCS, load and performance, so that's 142 passengers. We should have a zero fuel weight of 556, so that's less cargo than that. Actually, no, we're pretty close. Like 557, that's fine. And fuel 5.9, I want to give myself the freedom of doing at least one or two go around, so we're going to take 5.9 plus 1.5, so that's 7.4. That should give us about half an hour extra fuel, which we like. And we are going to take 1 plus flaps. There we go. Okay, so we can punch that in. So diff, actually copy active, and then what we're going to do is go into second flight plan. Actually, no, we're gonna go into flight plan. Ooh, this is... Oh, second flight plan, okay. I'm gonna do deletes in it, and for this we're gonna do the return to Lyon in case of an engine failure. Okay. Just very basic, so for that one, nope, second flight plan. Jizo. We're gonna take the same here, so we're gonna take arrival. Nope. Oh, this is a bit buggy. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, what have I done wrong? Second flight plan in it. That should be fine. Okay, and then second flight plan. Okay, I'm struggling with this a bit. I should probably rewatch some videos to familiarize myself with it. So what we'll do... Okay, we'll ignore that for today. That is fine. We want to get So if we go into airport, close Calvi for now, we're just gonna load Lima Lima. We're gonna get departures, and we are on the Romam to November, so that's the one. See what we need. So they're not on of, so surely the stuff that we're gonna need to tune. So radnav, make sure that we have in ADF1 we should have, nope, we should have 2901, so that is not valid. So Whiskey Sierra is coming on here. Yep, that is good. And then I want to have LSE, so Lima Sierra Echo, which is tuned in the VOR, so that's fine. We don't have to hard tune that one then. That's just so we can make sure to have that. So diffs, rip, so radio, then we can go back to init, fill in the init B. So zero fuel weight is 557, and center of gravity is 27% of the median aerodynamic chords. Block fuel of 7.4 tons. Okay, gives us a lot of extra time, which is exactly what we wanted. And then finally performance, so that gives us 151, 151, and 153. Okay, takeoff shifts none. We're taking off with flaps 1 and minus 0.5 trim, and a flex temperature of 64 degrees. And that is us done. Let me just check quickly if we go on here. Airports. I am not sure what the okay, so 1012, elevation is 800 feet. We should have something. Yeah, we're coherent with that. I'm happy with that. We can bump up the brightness of these a tiny bit. There's a bit of terrain, I believe, in the vicinity, so we're going to turn on terrain radar. We're going to start the APU as well. We're gonna get parking stands just so we can actually have a look at where we're going. So on Delta 21, so we're gonna go push back on Romeo 3, then Romeo 3, Tango Juliet, Tango Juliet, Tango. Top altitude for a departure is nothing on there. Initial climb clearance, flight level 70, so that is fine. We're going to check that we've got something consistent. We don't have any restrictions in there, and we don't have any restrictions in here, so that is fine. And with that, we are going to be good to go. APU is available, so we can get the external power of the bus, turn on fuel pumps. APU bleed is coming on, and we're gonna be ready to go in a second. Just checking briefly. What am I forgetting? I've got a nagging feeling I'm forgetting something. We'll try and do checklists actually. That is probably a good idea. We're gonna invent something here. 5236. Alt off. And we're gonna call the pushback truck.
Going to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Oh, that's a French accent and a half. Okay.
Run to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Perfect. So we are gonna do our checklists. So if we go into charts, I should have. That is my Airbus checklist. Before start, cockpit preparation is complete. Signs are on and auto. You know what? We're gonna get the tablet pop up. ADAs are on nav. Fuel quantity, we have 7.4 tons. Balanced, so I'm happy with that. FMGS is set, altimeter 1012, 819 feet. Check both sides.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
I'm gonna turn on the beacon lights. Doors close and arm, both sides. Beacon is on, mobile phone is off, parking brake is on. Good, we're ready to go. We're just gonna get that. Jetway disconnected. No, well, not what I expected to do, but that worked too.
Tow connected and
Just
bike
make sure
has
that
been
this
inserted.
is.
Release parking brake.
Okay, so this is going to be on flight plan. This is going to be on performance. Okay, before we go, is there anything? You know what? We're going to put VATSIM in observer mode, because why not? There we go. And we are good to go. Block timer starts.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Put that in start. We've got bleed pressure on both sides. That is good. We're gonna wait till we're a bit away from the terminal because okay, oh, an error. Oh, right. Call sign in use, never mind then. Okay, we'll worry about that at another point. Right. Starting 2. And 2. Oh. Okay, we've got fuel flow, ignition, and 1. Okay, 1 good engine. Starting 1. Oof. Did I not turn off 3D sound fading or whatever it's called? I did not. So we've got N2 fuel flow, ignition, and 1 is coming up. Now this is a rank weather in here.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow, standby.
Right, we can do our after takeoff, after start flow. Okay, first ignition goes to normal. Ground spoilers are armed. Flaps 1. APU bleed is coming off. APU is coming off. Okay. After start checklists. NTIs. Do we need NTIs? No. 11 degrees. That is fine.
Tow disconnected and
ECAM
light
status.
active has been removed.
Green.
Handle on the right. We'll see you next time on Other Side
Check
Flight.
here as well. Normal. Pitch trim. 0.5 units set. And rudder trim just resets and 0. Okay, we are good to go. Normally we'd get taxi clearance now. Obviously we are not online, so we're fine. Here we go. Runway turn off and taxi lights are coming on. Start the chrono. We should have sighted that once the second engine was alive. Brakes check. No loss of pressure in the accumulator. Okay, takeoff config check. Okay, control surfaces, full left, neutral, full right, neutral, full up, neutral, full down, neutral, rudder full left, neutral, full right, neutral. I really need to bind that rudder disconnect button. Okay, auto brake max. Okay, before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked, briefing will pass. Not good, but flaps once required and set. Flight mode annunciator, climb nav. Should I be in climb and nav? We'll see. I've had issues in the past with the toliss and takeoff, so we'll see how that works. Takeoff data, we've got speeds of 151, that should be on the perf page. 51, 51, 53, that is good. Okay, with that, we're good to go. We'll assume that we've got no takeoff clearance. This comes on. Transponder TARA and weather radar is on. Okay, transponder set, TARA, ECAM, MIMO, takeoff, no blue. Cabin secured for takeoff, engine mode selector as required, normal. Packs are staying on and anti-ice is not required. 35 left is confirmed. always get trapped by that nose wheel steering on this plane. Okay, so I'm getting interesting. Okay, that looks more like what it should look like. Okay, 50% coming up, stable, and I left the parking brake on because I forgot that this thing puts it on automatically. So we can start that again. Takeoff config, check, release the brakes, and now standard thrust levers up to 50%, 50% stable. Manflex SRS runway auto thrust is blue. knots, takeoff thrust sets, indications normal, 100 knots. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear is coming up onto the flight directors. (2,200) acceleration altitudes. Wait for that positive trends in velocity. Thrust climb, climb. And here we go. On our way to Calvi. Let's hand fly that for a wee bit. And I forgot to restart the chrono. As speed flaps are coming up. Total air temperature is 11 degrees. We do not need NTIs. Keep evaluating that. And because there is no traffic control, we are going to clear ourselves to our cruise level, because why wouldn't we? Clear to flight level so we can check that. Okay, and autopilot 1 on. So it's doing something a bit strange right here. If we look into if we look at this chart for the SID, actually we should get an idea of what it's meant to be doing. Airports. So we're meant to be, we're meant to be on a specific radial. Actually, yes, we're meant to be on a specific radial, so that is fine, that is normal. The path was a bit wonky, but that is fine. So we've passed level 100, so we can turn off the landing lights. Doesn't seem to be rocky or anything, so we'll release the passengers as well. And here we go. En route to Calvi. Did I turn on the wing lights? I did. Right, all fine and dandy. So, if we have a look at the FMS, actually we can take any of, what? Okay, that's interesting. Fix info is the one we want. So we're going to actually try and build the approach, well, not the approach, but at least build ourselves a reference. So if we go onto tab, there's that document that you can find online for the Calvi, this one. Now this is the chart that we want. It's a bit messy. Okay. So first we're gonna need the Calvi DME, so that's CLI, and we are gonna take our 3 nautical miles ring, and from there, so from that point we want to go on to track 190. Yeah, there's not actually that much more. Is there any indication of distances that you're meant to keep? Doesn't really look like it. I wish there was a better chart, better quality one. But I don't believe Navigraph has the VFR charts yet. Let me see, if we go into airports, we can get rid of these. If we take the approach, which is what we'll fly, is there anything about circle to land? There we go. Then wind leg, la-di-da. There isn't. We don't have a kind of like safe distance that we need to stay in. Reference. That's not gonna help us much, is it? No. Well. Yeah, there isn't really anything else. Okay. So if I wanted to play around a bit, what I could do, so first what we'll do is we'll take the 3-6 runway and we'll build ourselves a 2-mile ring, because why not? now, if we go... Because ideally, what would be nice would be to create ourselves a waypoint. Okay, let's try this. So we'll create a waypoint, right? That is, so place, so CLI, bearing, so that's 356, and that's at a distance of 3 miles, and that should be where we need to shoot off. I've got a feeling that's not right. But from there, if we plot the 1905 radial, let's see if that actually worked or not. That did not. So I don't know in this one if you can create new waypoints. Copy active. Just okay. Okay, what we can do is try and build it in here. So let's say we say here with CLI VOR on bearing 356, 358, 358. We can check that easily if we go here. Yep, 358 at 3 nautical miles. Yep, it has created the waypoints properly. And what we'll do is we'll insert that. That might very well screw up some of our flight plan data, but for now, I wish there was a way to put that in there. Apparently there isn't. Because if I just put that in here, it's just gonna put the actual coordinates. 008. Not in database. Fun. Okay, never mind. Not gonna spend too much time on this. So if I get the flight plan, and I can just reload that approach properly. Arrival, log 18 on the Nerdo to Novias. None. Just check that everything is still the same. That is fine. Yep, that looks right to me. Okay, now, we're just gonna... a 3-mile ring, that is fine. A 2-mile ring off of... Yep. And that's it. For now, at least. There we go, cruise altitudes. I was a little ways away from out of descent, and got a bit of time to brave the approach, which is good. So what we're gonna do, circling is at 1700 feet. Let's get charts on there. So we're gonna fly the localizer runway 18 approach, which means we need to have, we can detune this, that is fine. Yeah, we're not in approach in descent yet, so this is not going to be indicating just now. I'm gonna get the weather data for arrival. So if we get I'm running in real weather at the moment. Yeah, with the current weather they would not land 3.6, but I really want to try and practice that approach, so So QNH in what is 1010, temperature is 16 degrees, that is balmy. So our minimum descent altitude is going to be our circling altitude. And wind is 2004 knots. So normally we'd be landing in... we would be landing on 1.8. For this, it's slow enough a tailwind that I think we should be fine. Okay, Calvi okay, no clouds, that sounds perfect for a circling practice. So now let's have a look at our charts. We'll follow the Nerdo to arrival, so Nerdo direct to Norca, direct to Elu, direct to Suka and direct to Elu, fairly straightforward. From Elu we'll be flying the localizer 1, runway 18 approach. We'll take the localizer, descend in vertical deviation mode, which will give us guidance. We'll only descend down to 1700 feet. And we'll then wait until we get to a distance of 3 miles from the Calvi VOR. At this point we'll go track FPA right here. Keep level, will be gear down flaps 3 by then. And fly a track of 195 degrees. So this is, if we go back to the airport and hope to the charts bit, that is that leg. I can't remember if there's a... So I know the timing normally is 30 seconds from the thresholds. In reality there's a worry here that you're meant to use as a visual reference point to start turning. We'll see what we do. My hunch is we'll use the 20 seconds thing. 20, no. Yeah, let's take 25, minus 5, minus 4 for the 12, for the 4 knots of tailwind, so we'll take 21 seconds. So we'll start timing 21 seconds. When we get to the... Actually, I don't know where I close this. Yeah, when we get a beam to threshold, we'll start descending to 13,000 feet. Actually, descend to 13,000 feet, and then at the start of the third turn, start a 1,000 feet per minute descent. That is a complicated approach. Potential dangers, well, obviously, terrain. You get very, very close to terrain in that turn. So we'll have to be quite careful there. In case we have to go miss, if we're in there, we'll have to follow the path and then fly out bounds on the missed approach for 1.8. Landing speeds, we'll be landing with full flaps, 137 knots v approach. And yeah, that's about it. So I don't have any kind of fancy scenery. I don't think even for Calvi that's probably something I should have thought about earlier, but that's fine. We'll just fly it like that. At least attempt it. I've also never actually tried that approach in the sim, unless maybe ages ago when I was still flying on Flight Sim 2004, so that's obviously quite a while back. So yeah, we'll have to see how we manage that. Someone forgot to arm the strobes. There we go. So we're gonna fly right over Nice, I believe. And then we'll start our descents. So there's another interesting approach in Corsica. There's a bunch actually because of the terrain. Obviously, you've got massive mountains in the middle of the island, so all the approaches that kind of have to come. Like, if you can land from the sea towards the land, you're fine, and even then, there's always a risk with missed approaches and all that. The other way around, obviously, you've got the mountains, so that's a problem. I believe there's a couple of other circling approaches, but there's one particularly in Ajaccio, actually, that has, I don't know if it is, yes, VPT, which stands for Visual Prescribed Track. There we go, so that one kind of like does something a bit similar. You've got a bit more of a, you've got a wider berth than you do in Calvi, but it's still quite dodgy, you don't want to miss that. And I don't know, so that's A and B, I don't know if that's the same one. Yeah, okay, so it's not on Navigraph, but I believe Air France and a bunch of other carriers now fly another one. I don't know if you can actually see it on the chart, but or instead of coming from the sea and doing like a kind of tight turn, you come from over a pass right here, I believe it's here, and you turn. If you can see, there's a wee lake here. You aim for the lake, so you go through the pass, aim for the lake, and turn in for landing at the last moment. That's quite impressive. Might try and do that at some point. Maybe in a different plane, actually. We could try... yeah, we'll see. We might try that in a Embraer or a... yeah, we'll have a go. Or maybe 737. Okay, approaching top of descent now. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got a bit of time. We've got about 5 minutes before we start descending. So actually, we should probably start to look at our constraints on the arrival. I don't believe we've got any close by. Feels wrong. There's none at all. No, there's no. Well, I guess we're actually over the sea the whole time, so that would explain. Alright, well, there we go, we can turn off with the radar for now. We'll turn it back on passing flight level 100s when we start actually planning a landing. So I'm doing this, I've not actually looked at all the videos. I know there's a couple of videos from actual pilots actually, and a couple of pilots slash flight sim people on how to do that approach properly. I just wanted to give it a go with the documentation that I have. And we'll see how we do. If we don't do that well, which honestly is quite possible and expected, I'll just have a look and we can try again at some other points. Okay, so we're going to approach top of descent now, so we're going to bug flight level 100 for now. Right, let's start our descent now. So what I'll do is I'll go into shallow descents first at 1000 foot per minute until we reach top of descents and we catch the vertical profile. So, well, this is all default textures, but I believe that is Nice. Yep, Nice Airport right here. I believe this has some interesting visual approaches as well. There's one coming right over the bay here and then turning in here to align with the runway. That might be an interesting one to try. There's a couple of interesting approaches in the south of France generally, mostly heading to the mountains. Should have Marseille and then Montpellier that way. So if we go here on the progress page, we should see... Yep, so we're catching the vertical profile slowly. There we go. Green dot. Is it meant to be green? I thought it was the, what do they call it? The magenta donut? It used to be magenta at least, but... Oh, I guess they've changed the control laws quite a lot in that new version actually. There wasn't the previous one didn't do idle descents. It went to thrust descents right here instead. That's interesting, that's good. It's always more economical, if anything, to stay high as long as you can and then just drop with engines at idle and essentially glide all the way down to the airport. So I believe we can start to see the outline of the coast in front of us of Corsica. Chasing the profile a bit right now actually. Okay. So, a couple of things I want to make sure we do. We're going to go in RadNav and we're going to hard tune CLI. Here. The reason why is we really don't want to, we want that to be constantly indicating on here. We'll have our fixed wings as well that we put in, but it's still something that is good to have. Now the approach is on 109.5. 109.5 is set, that is fine. Yeah, we can stay that way, we're good. Getting a bit fast, so we're going to wait a tiny bit, see if we catch back up. If not, we'll get a bit of speed brake out. Get terrain up, we can wait a bit. won't display anyway because of explains terrain model. Yeah, we're fine for now. So the rules for a circling approach is that if we're not visual by the circling minima, we have to go around. We're not allowed to start the circling not in sight of the airport, which makes sense. What I am gonna do as well, so I've got a quick view for here, and normally I've got a quick view for Capella. Not gonna be overly useful for this, so we're gonna set a view here so that we can kind of like quickly alternate between the different viewpoints, and hopefully they'll help us get a better view of the runway. Obviously, never really flown a plane, really. But you can imagine that it's a lot easier, well, quote unquote easier in real life when you can actually turn your heads and see where you're going, rather than a simulator where I've got a flimsy little joystick hat to move the view about. That's not really fast or precise or anything, so in real life you'd be turning your heads left, right and center all the time. Flight level 200, I'm going to keep our descent for now. Okay, so here's the island, so we're gonna go here, make a right turn here, and then a left turn to go land somewhere, I think in that bay. Can't see it too clearly just now, but okay. Here we go. Now, what we could actually do, I think, if we wanted to build that, not quite. I thought my Klima 1.8 was kind of close-ish to the 3-mile arc, but it might not actually be. That one. Let's see, does that give us something that we can use? Don't think it does, but that's 195, not 295. Yeah, no, that's way too early because we've got 2 more miles after that. So we can get rid of that. So if I go, nope. If we go on the fix info page, so here, my Klima 1.8 we can delete. Okay, so flight level 160, we're gonna turn the fasten seatbelt sign on. Just realized we haven't done any other checklist since we started. Good job. Anyway, I have to start before takeoff. Okay. So we'll wait till we pass level 100 for that. But yeah, so far the toliss upgrade seems to be working quite well. Let's have a look. Okay, we're gonna turn on terrain radar now. Yeah, see, so Explain hasn't loaded the terrain properly here, so it's not actually showing there on the ND. That's gonna come in quite soon, hopefully. until we do this, we're going to go in here. The platform altitude is 3,300 feet, so we're going to actually bug that now. Need to make sure and that means we can go into QNH modes. Gonna get landing lights in. Okay, so something I want to see. The plane used to be quite aggressive to pitching up when it needed to slow down for 250 knots at flat level 100. It would do like a actual level segment, so go down at like around 280 or whatever the descent speed was, and then do a level segment until it was at 250 and then go down again. I believe some old Airbuses probably have that as their software. Most recent ones, I think, just shallow out the descents like the Boeings do, where they just kind of bring back the descents to around maybe 800 feet per minute. Allows you to like keep high a bit longer, basically, instead of in a kind of like very harsh, like big deck angle changes as well, which is obviously less comfortable if you're in the cabin. So 20 miles, yeah, so we're gonna go this way and then I believe follow the coast and then turn. Right, so we should be getting to... Yeah, see, that's a lot nicer. It's actually maintaining about 500-600 feet per minute. Even 800, that is good. That is really nice. And kind of anticipating, so we reach 250 or less by 10,000. I like that, I really like that. Oh, I'm saying stupid things. We're not going to do another left turn. We're just going to do one last right turn and then we'll be just going in. So right here and probably... Oh yeah, okay, no, I think I can see it. So we're going to go into that bay here and then... Okay. Well, here we go. So we're going to pull for selected speeds. Activate the approach phase, confirm we're good with this. Check that the QNH here matches what we got on the internet. 1011, not quite the same. Close, but... Okay, here we go. So this is where it becomes interesting. We really want to be ready early for that approach as well. We don't want to be coming in, just come like screaming in at 250 knots, 3 miles from the runway and break off at that speed on our approach. So that means, actually just checking that there's no level segment in there. Nope. Yeah, so they've definitely changed the logic of the FMS in the updates, because it used to be that old Airbus software that would do like a big level offs every time we had to decelerate. I believe they've changed to geometric descent, which is what most planes have nowadays, where you just where they kind of try and like keep you descending all the time, just vary the rate of descent to manage the speeds. Actually, I'm gonna put this in rose modes. Yeah, it'll probably be useful to have a kind of better situational awareness of everything. Now if we go in charts and put back the... Oh, this one, there we go. So this is 3 miles. Yeah, we're about 2-3 mile ring of the threshold. I'm happy with that. Okay, so it is. So if we zoom in on there, we can't see it just yet, but the runway should be somewhere here, and we're gonna go in the valley here, basically along that ridge, and then turn into the valley to come back to land. That should be interesting. In we go. So we have CLI here, which is good. That's the Calvi lock. And we've got DME information here as well, which is what we need. For now, let's leave that in arc. Okay, so next constraint is 2300s. We are visual just now actually, so that is good. Now, visual approach doesn't mean you have to disconnect everything. You can use the automation, and I am for this one, at least for that first try. Once I'm more familiar, I might try and give that a go, but no, we have to keep that on a lock app, and I don't believe it will. Yeah. It's fine. We don't need the vertical guidance for that one anyway, because we're going to be flying. Okay, so we're going to start bringing the speed back now. So we're going to go to 220 knots for now. Yep, so because it's trying to do continuous descent, which, I mean, is good, but yeah, we're going to get some spoilers out to get rid of some speeds. It's doing us a big pitch up here, I don't know why. So we can retract the spoilers actually for now. And we're gonna go flaps 1. Go, and we're gonna actually keep reducing speeds now to 200s. We've got a level segment, we might as well use it. We're gonna go into track FP8. So track and flight path angle. Track because the Airbus has that very neat mode that lets you pre-select a track instead of a heading, which means it will actually take into account winds and everything, and drift too. So we can actually go into lock now. Not quite sure what it's doing vertical path-wise. Yep, no. Oh, there we go, we're going down again. Okay, we're gonna reduce to 180. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this and go, actually, no, for now we're gonna leave it up in manage descents. See what it does. I think it's just trying to match that restriction here. And then, so now we can bug our circling altitudes, VFE minus 10, speed checks flap 2. And we're gonna bring the speed back again to 160 knots. So 160 knots just because that's the approach that you get, the kind of fast approach speed that you get. Alt is armed. Yeah, so for now it's just the altitude constraint on the approach. That is fine, we're gonna leave it here for now. I'm gonna start paying close attention to the DME distance here as well. Checked terrain is acknowledged. It's going to be interesting. So we shouldn't have a level off because we're going to pass right over it when we reach a constraint. Hopefully. Perfect. Wow, that new update is beautiful. Right, so we are reaching our circling altitude, so we're going to level off at the altitudes. Yep, so I'm going to tell the cabin to get ready. Okay, so we're going to level off here and then stay on that track until we get to 3 DME. What we'll do is we'll go into track mode now, that way we just have to spin the knob. Okay, gear down, flaps 3. So the reason we're doing this now is because we don't want to be changing the configuration too much in the 4 miles. Yeah, so I believe the quarry is actually visible here, that's that big patch. 3.6. So remember V approach is 137 knots. 3.1, 3, here we go. So track of 1905, and we're gonna make a descent to so we can see the quarry. We're a bit, I think we turned a bit early because we're going a bit, yeah. So we're gonna start descending a bit quicker to okay, well, what we'll do is when we reach 1300 feet, so we're gonna adjust the track a bit here to try and aim for the quarry. So at 1300 feet, so we're gonna go speed managed, flaps full. Okay, and now we can, so okay, timing. Yeah, in our situation I believe it's not going to be 20 seconds because I'm going to disconnect autopilot.
Terrain.
And here we go, yeah, so
Terrain.
we can start our descent now.
Terrain.
So in real life, if you get this,
Terrain.
you don't continue, you just go around immediately. In this case, explain, well, according to actual pilots that talk about flying in explain. So this is something you should probably not do, but we're gonna disable the terrain awareness. You really shouldn't do this in an approach like this. You want the terrain awareness, obviously in our case, because explain is being a bit picky. Yeah, so I believe we
300.
went a bit shallow here. Yeah, that's that go around. Okay, positive rate gear is coming up. We are gonna fly. Yeah, so we didn't turn nearly fast enough. Flaps 2. We're gonna stay in heading mode for now. What we'll do, direct. Yeah, okay, we're gonna vector ourselves, which we probably shouldn't do, but this is why you need a co-pilot. So, and flaps up. Okay. Oh, this is really why you need a co-pilot, because I shouldn't be going this way. But we didn't set the box properly, so in that case, disconnect for now, fly, then fix it. Okay, flaps 1, speed checks. Okay, what we'll do is we'll vector ourselves for another approach. No, we should be fine on that track. Yeah. And who didn't check that the gear was up? I didn't. Okay, so FKC arrival, lock 18, no start, no transition. And then direct. What is it doing? Okay, so what we'll do is if we go back here. Yep, it's not liking that. A new destination, we'll do it this way. FKC. No, okay, let's not fiddle with that too much. Now, there's no point. So okay, descend to so we're gonna give ourselves a 270 vector. Speed 180 and try this again. That was messy. Not super proud of that. Yeah, don't really know what that thing is doing. Yeah, never mind. I'll ignore that then for now. Activate the approach phase at least. Okay, speed check, flaps 2. Actually, we can give ourselves an intercept vector. So 18, so we'll take 220. And localizer. Okay, so previous one, turn was definitely too shallow, so we really need, actually I believe it says, and I didn't follow that enough, where here says inclination 30 degrees, it's all in French actually, inclination 30 degrees, you need to be coming in very, very, very tight turn. We're gonna descend to 1700. There we go. Lock blue, lock star. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Lock. So I also don't know with the terrain, well, like with the scenery I have, because it's like default explained terrain. I'm hoping that that won't be a problem, but yeah. So we're gonna go gear down at 5 miles. Get the cabin ready. We've disabled terrain radar. That's to avoid spurious warnings. So we need to be so we screwed up. So we need to stay at that altitude for now. So gear down, flaps 3. Gonna stay on this track for now. We need to start descending towards 1300 feet when we reach a beam the thresholds. Did not do that earlier. We started descending now, and that put us very, very, like, way too close to the terrain. And I believe we want to get to 1300 feet by the quarry, at which point we start our descent to... Okay. We are gonna stay at that speed for now, 150. Here comes 3 DME. Again, not quite sure about that DME and those arcs, but anyway, we're pretty good here. Okay, we can do flaps full. Speeds, landing checklists. Yeah, we still do need to adjust that vector a bit, because, yeah. Landing checklist, cabin is secured, auto thrust, speeds, go arounds. Well, in our case, we can't really set that just now. ECAM memo landing no blue. Okay, let's try this again. So abeam the threshold, so soon we're gonna start a descent to 1300 feet. I want to be in track. Okay, that looks a lot more like what we want to see. We can't see here. Okay, abeam now. Descend to 1300 feet. I'm gonna disconnect now. Yep. It sets, we can disable the flight directors at this point.
1000.
Okay, we want to be at 1300 feet over the quarry, which is roughly where we're gonna be, which I like. Okay, and turn now 30 degrees, so that is a hard turn. Don't want to be descending too fast, but we don't want to hang about too high either. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Descending a bit fast, but that is fine